Let's talk about text, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about text. Yes, this video is all about text in Blender. But before that, welcome back to Blender for Blogs. I am Justin, your host of the Blender for Blogs video editing series, where we are using Blender, of course, to edit videos for our blogs. So I haven't done this in a while. Well, I did a little bit last time, but I want to take you a little bit more detail over to my website, blenderfrenzy.com. And you can see the links up here where you can click on. This is the featured stuff, the most recent stuff that I've posted. And then you'll see new tutorial series, Blender for Blogs, promo video. This is where all of my promo videos I think are going to go for each project that I work on. And then down here you have like a magazine type layout. So we've got Blender for Blogs, and here's the most recent for the Blender for Blogs. And then here's another category down here just for fun. And these are some things I've created in Blender. That's just for fun. You can check those out. You can go to my About page. And of course, you can always go grab your free video editing cheat sheet. If you just give me your name and email and click this by opting in, I agree to receive news and updates from Blender Frenzy. And then in parentheses, I say, don't worry, no spam, I promise. And that is true because I don't send a lot of email. I just don't like writing emails. So I don't think I've sent an email for a couple of months now, which I probably should. But anyway, so you do that, and what that will do, it will send you an email with a link. Actually, I think another page will pop up too, but it'll also send you an email, and it'll send you a password where you could use to go to Frenzy Freebies right here. So click on Frenzy Freebies, and then type in your password. And I've already typed in my password, so after you type in your password, this is what you will see. And I've got 4 things right there for you. You get your free video editing cheat sheet. You can download from that. I have updated my blend file and key configurations. So you've got the most recent blend file for your video editing default. So that's all set up, ready for you to go. Your key configuration that I'm using as well, because I've changed some of the keys. And I did do a tutorial on that, so go check that out. You've got your pre-cut footage here with the footage that I have with my green screen, so you can practice removing your green screen. And then I just recently uploaded this free downloaded media. You've got 8 items. You've got your audio files, your birds and your waves. You've got your alpha and transparency, your checkerboard fake transparency, your beach background, chalkboard background, and a couple of other pictures for things that we're currently going to be doing. So all of this is free, so just sign up, blenderfrenzy.com. Now I do want to mention that Blender has a way of adding text using the default 3D view, and then you can add it as 3D text. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a full copy here. I'm going to hit X to delete this cube, and then hit 7 to go to the top mode. And if I do Shift A text, and it brings in that text. I'm just using my scroll wheel to scroll in. If I hit Tab, when I have it selected, it goes to edit mode. I can hit backspace and then start typing what I want. Frenzy. Zoom out a little bit. Hit Tab again, and then if I hit G, I can move that around. But so this is a way you can add 3D text, and this is in 3D space. I'm not going to go over this way to do it just yet. I might have a future tutorial how to use the Blender text mode and then import it into your video sequence editor, but not today. So today I'm going to show you a different way I like to do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this scene that I made just now, and then I'm going to go back to my video editing. And the first thing I'm going to do, because we're talking about text this time, so last time we did this little thing here.
Peaceful, relaxing. Or maybe you're...
I love that. And before I forget, it's 5:09. That's what we were working on last time. I'm just going to do a save real quick, and then a save as, which is Control-Shift-S, and then plus to 510. And last time we talked about free media and downloading this audio file and making sure that it was um, free for commercial use, because that's your CC0 license, and you want to make sure you're using something similar, or that if you do download something that's freeware but not necessarily commercial license, making sure you're looking at that license, and make sure you do your own research. We'll talk a little bit more about that today with our text as well. But first, we want to do the Blender native text here, just really, really basic. It's really quick. So right here, I'm saying or.
Or maybe you're teaching.
So I'm just going to put real quick just a text here that says or. So Shift A, effects strip, and then text. And let's see, grab this on the Y, move it up because I don't know where it is. There we go. And that we're going to need to make alpha over I think is okay. Well, actually overdrop looks like it's better. So let's just keep that overdrop. Actually, I want to grab this and control and butt that up. Let's zoom in here. Butt that up right against that thing. Okay, and you can see way down here you have the text. So you can change it to say whatever you want. You can change the size. So I increase the size. You can see that I have white text here. You can change the color. You can add a shadow. Let's see, center. Actually, changing these alignments, right, left, we'll do that, obviously. But see, this one down here, align center with Y, that certainly didn't align that to the center. Bottom, top, yeah. So it's, again, kind of finicky. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was bottom. So just keep that bottom. And then we can actually move that up because I'm going to want it right here. So I'm just moving. You can move the location just like that too. That's probably a better way to do it anyway. Wrap width. I think if you have enough text, it'll, wrap it across the screen. I haven't actually messed with that yet. Well, let's do that now. Let's talk about text, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Okay, enter. Okay, let's do a wrap width. Okay, yeah, let's bring down that size. Okay, there we go. Ah, hey, look at that. You can do this if you want very simple credits, and then you can just animate those credits like we've been animating things. Just make sure you start, not that way. You start with this all the way down. Oh, I can't go further than 0. Well, I wonder why. -1. Oh, well, if I manually type it in, -2. There we go. I suppose that might work. And then we can put a keyframe in there and then animate that going up. Like little credits at the end. There you go. So that would be your wrap width, although it's really finicky. I'm not going to use any of this, so it doesn't even matter because I just want a simple OR. So OR, enter, and we're going to bring that size back up. I'm going to get rid of the shadow because I just want this to be, I want this to be black. Go. And I don't think there is a way to change the font style. I think you're just stuck with this font. If anybody else knows how, okay, let's see, over a little bit more, up. There we go, something like that. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how I had it before, but it's going to look something like this, and it's going to stop right here. And in fact, I'm just going to bring that down. Oh, got to select the whole thing, bring it down. No! Right here. There we go. Okay. Let's refresh the sequencer and see how that looks.
Or maybe you're teaching your audience something.
Oh, that's right. I want it to go underneath this here. So I'm just going to take these two, grab that on the Y, grab it down. And see, this is why I have all these up a little bit from the background because of overlays and all that all that jazz down here. Okay, grab this, control to snap that to there. So something like this.
Or maybe you're teaching your audience.
Perfect. All right, so this is where our animation is for the transform here, and you can see here are our keyframes. So that is bringing that chalkboard background right in there. We did that last time as well.
Maybe you're teaching your audience something really important.
Okay, so that is it for the native Blender video sequence editor text. Very, very, very basic. So if you want something a little bit more pretty, that is what we're about to discuss. Google Slides. Now, I'm not going to show you how to get a Google account and download slides and all of that stuff. I'm using a Chrome browser. Go to your apps, you can install slides, and there you go. Create an untitled presentation. I just created a blank presentation. There's a button that you can click, you say blank, and then it looks like this once it's opened up. Now, I'm just going to show you a little bit of text, what you can do, and how you can download it to PNG. So I'm going to close the themes over here, and I'm actually going to, well, I guess we can use these here, both of these here. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. And click to add text. So I had on there A plus B equals cat for one of my sentences on the chalkboard. And what you can do is use the font and formatting that Google Slides will give you. So you can change the, let's change the font. So you got a list of fonts that it'll start with. Now yours might look a little different than mine, but basically you can just change, the font here, which is pretty cool. Just like a normal, text editor. You can change the color. I don't exactly remember. I think I had it white, but I'll do that in a little bit here. I'm just gonna change the size a little bit. Actually, I want it to be a little bit smaller. Let's do maybe 36. Let's go alignment. So we want to align it in the center, both horizontally and vertically. And then I'm just going to move this up here in the corner somewhere. I'll align it better a little bit later. But what I want to show you here is if you go to the drop down and you click more fonts, you can actually scroll through a whole bunch of different fonts, and you can also search for a font if you know specifically a font that you want. But it kind of shows you a preview of all the fonts that you can use, and there's a lot of them. Even when this scroll bar goes down, it'll reload, and it will keep loading them, and you just keep going, and you just keep going. And then the ones that you want, you see I have a check mark, and it's highlighted in blue. So if I click that one, it'll add to my list. So I'll have my fonts, and these are the list. And if I don't want that one, I can just click X and get rid of it. So yeah, so just kind of search through that and find the ones that you want. I know there is one that I saw the other day that I really like. Actually, that's what I'm going to use. It's called Frederica the Great. And I like this one for a lot of different reasons. One, I'm actually currently seeing a girl from Germany, and her name is Frederica. And I probably really butchered that for all you German listeners out there, but yeah, she's pretty great. So that's very fitting. So I'm going to click that, make sure it's checked, and then it should be over here under my fonts, and I see it right there. And I'm going to hit OK, and go up here to my drop-down list, and down here, Frederica the Great. Boom. Perfect. And another reason why I like this is because it's got that little like line shading. I think that there's like a term for that, like an artistic term for that, but it can kind of resemble chalk on chalkboard. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger here though. I'm gonna do, let's see, maybe, yep, something like that. Now, before I go any further, there are two schools of thought for the text to Blender. The first one is just to download this area here, and then you, in order to do that, you actually, I don't think you can download just this here. You might have to take a screenshot of it or whatever. Well, that wouldn't work because then you don't have the PNG, so never mind. So I don't exactly know how to do that, but let's say that I could just make a little PNG here where it's just this text and everything else is transparent. So if I go back to Blender, and if I import just that PNG file, it's going to stretch it out all the way across the screen. And what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to come here and hit Image Offset and see how that gives it its original size. And then I'm going to have to do a transform and all of that stuff. And especially with our cropping, if we need something cropped, it just causes a big mess. So what I like to do instead is have it automatically be the right size when I import it. And the way I do that is first I will download this image here just so that I can line things up correctly. So with this timeline cursor right here, I'm going to hit render. But before I do that, I want to make sure that this says 100%. And be careful with the slider again, because slider might cause Blender to crash, depending on your system. It does for mine sometimes. So, so now it's 100% of 1920 by 1080. I'm going to hit render. Go over to our rendering tab, and then image, save image as, and I'm going to save it as chalkboard background. Now I've already done this once, so I'm just going to save it like that. And then back in slides, I'm going to click on, make sure I deselect from here, click on background, image, click choose, upload my image, select my chalkboard background, let it upload. All right, and then click done, and boom, there we go. We have our background image, so where we can position this text where we want it. Now I actually kind of like it right there, but what I'm going to do is change the font color to an off-white kind of. There we go. So you've got that chalkboard kind of feel to it. And here you could also change the size as you see fit. Maybe you want it smaller. Yeah, maybe like that. I think I like it this size 60. I think I like it there. Now, I do have to mention that this is not the font that I had in the promo video. I'm actually using a different font now because frankly, I just like this one better. And it's easier because it's all right in Google Slides. So I'm also going to get another text box here and just drag this text box out. And I'm going to do my will learn ya stuff. Boom. Just like that. I'm just going to do a simple yellow here, I think. Yeah. And we're going to center this as well. I'm going to bring this up to 18. No. 36. Yeah. Something like that. Will learn your stuff. Terrible, terrible English, but I did it on purpose because I thought it was funny. And like I said in one of my comments on YouTube, I don't take language that seriously just because, all language is made up. So I like to play around with it a little bit. But what I'm not going to do right now is in the promo video, you see that it was curved like that. The will learn your stuff started here and it went like this. And to be honest, I can't remember how I did that. I don't think you can do that here in slides. So I don't remember exactly how I did that. So that might be in a later tutorial, but for now, I'm just going to leave it like this. Maybe slide it over just a tad like that. So what I'm using the background image that we got from our Blender screen, and then just used this as kind of like a guideline. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. And with the second slide selected, I'm going to hit background and then select color transparent and hit done. Now we have both of our text boxes on top of a transparent image. And sorry, Rob Davis, this might be a workaround that you also are horrified by, since most of this will be an alpha transparency. But I found this to be the best way to actually get it into Blender looking exactly how I want it to look. So with that said, what I'm going to do before I download it, I'm going to change one more thing. Go to File, Page Setup. Where it says widescreen, click drop down, and then custom. Where it says inches, click drop down in pixels, and then change this to 1920 by 1080 or whatever your resolution is. Hit OK, and then boom. Now we have, this is what it will look like. And this is our transparency. So File, Download As, and then PNG image, in parentheses it says current slide. So make sure you have your correct slide selected, and PNG image, and then save it as, I save mine as chalkboard01 ABCat is what I saved it as. Save, that's fine. All right, so now all we have to do is go back into Blender, go to our video editing tab, Shift A, add in an image, go to our graphics, and then choose our checkerboard, and we see this. And if you've been following along, you know exactly what to do at this point. We go to our blend mode and click overdrop. And boom, this is exactly what we see. We don't have to mess with image offset or image crop or anything, and we have it ready to go here. Now, just like with any free downloadable media that you're using online, such as pictures, video, audio, text, and font, is the same thing. You want to make sure that you are allowed to use these fonts. Now, Google Fonts, if you go to fonts.google, you can actually search this way for all of their different fonts. And you can search up here. So if I do the Frederica the Great, which is here, and then I click on that, it brings up this here. So you have Frederica the Great, shows you kind of what it looks like. It shows you usage and all of that stuff. And down here, license is the open font license, which if you do some searching, open font license has 4 freedoms. The first one is the freedom to use the font software for any purpose. The study and adaptation, freedom to study how font software works. Redistribution, and modifications. So it pretty much is open source and public domain. So this is fair game to use. You can also download fonts apart from Google Slides or Google Fonts. If you just type in free fonts for commercial use or public domain or CC0 like we talked about last time, it comes up with a list of different websites you can use. One of the most popular ones is 1001fonts.com. And it's got a whole free for commercial use fonts, and you can search here. Now, what I like about this website is you can, do a lot of adjusting. So you can adjust the size, you can adjust how many per page, you can sort it. But what I like the most is you can actually A plus B equals cat. You can tell it what you want it to say. So it gives you a preview of what the text you actually want to look like, which is very, very useful. Unfortunately, within the free for commercial use fonts, you can't search for like chalk. I would love to be able to search for chalk, but if I search for chalk, which I have done once here, it does show me some chalk fonts, but it's no longer under the free for commercial use. So I just got to be careful if I select that and then go over to it. This one actually does say free for commercial use, so that's cool, but it might not. So you have that chalk line. Here's a couple of them that are free for commercial use. So you have this Chaup font, which is going to look like that. And you also have this Eraser font family, Eraser Regular, and Eraser Dust. Now, this is a little confusing. It says free for commercial use, but then down here it says, if you like and use this font, you should make a tax-deductible contribution to Columbia University Music Department here. And I actually went to David Rakowski's website, and this is what he says on here. If I zoom in here a little bit, He's created some fonts that I believe he may have sold before. But he says, at this point, I'm no longer interested in the care of free and feeding of typefaces. I'm ignoring any emails about fonts that come my way. Y'all may continue to do what you wish with the shareware fonts and send money to Columbia University if you feel that's what you must do. Me, I've got symphonies to write and cats to feed. So the creator of the eraser dust is saying that he doesn't really care about that. So I will leave it up to you whether you want to do this or not. If you like the eraser and you want to download the eraser, again, everything that I'm telling you is just a guideline. I am not offering legal advice. Use the fonts at your own risk and do your own research. Now, if you want to go the paid route, here is something else. You can, what is this, myfonts.com? There's a lot of really good paid chalk versions, and you can just click on them and go and see what the licensing is. We've got $10 here for it, but you might want to go to your buying choices. So if you go to the buying choices, you can see use for desktop, web font, digital ads. So depending on how you're using it will affect the price. So if I select this, you can see it's $20 for all three of these. So just keep that in mind that this is also another option that you can do. So that is where I think I'm going to stop today. I just wanted to show you how you can use Google Slides to add some prettier text and align it up. Align it up, line it up, align. See, look at that. I'm terrible with English. I need somebody else to learn me some English. But that's how you align it properly so that it looks exactly the way you want it to look. Next time, we'll get into a little bit more detail with the Google Slides and show you how you can create the bulleted list effect. So stay tuned and you'll see me over there.